What if I told you some Hollywood men look almost unrecognizable after plastic surgery? As the years go by, many turn to the knife hoping to look younger. But the results can be shocking, sometimes rejuvenating, other times career-damaging. In this video, you'll discover the most jaw-dropping male transformations from surgeries that shaved off decades to mistakes that cost reputations. And stick around until the end, because we'll reveal one of the most controversial cases the world can't stop talking about. Pete Burns was not just a pop star, he was a force of nature. The flamboyant frontman of Dead or Alive exploded into fame in the 1980s with the hit You Spin Me Round Like a Record. His striking androgynous style and fearless attitude, making him an icon of individuality. With his wild hair, dramatic makeup, and piercing stare, Pete was a living piece of performance art. But behind that bold exterior was a man consumed by the desire to reshape his image, literally. Burns' journey through plastic surgery began with what seemed like harmless adjustments: a rhinoplasty to refine his nose, a bit of filler to accentuate his lips. But as time went on, those small tweaks spiraled into hundreds of procedures that would redefine and nearly destroy his face. He suffered multiple botched operations, including a disastrous lip implant that left him disfigured and in constant pain. The infection was so severe that doctors told him he could lose parts of his face. Over the years, Burns endured more than 300 corrective surgeries just to repair the damage. The emotional toll was as devastating as the physical one. Once adored for his fearless creativity, he became a tabloid obsession, a symbol of plastic surgery gone wrong. Fans who had celebrated his confidence and uniqueness now looked on with heartbreak, barely recognizing the man who had once lit up the stage. Yet, in interviews, Pete remained defiant. He said, "My face is my canvas, and I'm the artist." To him, transformation was not vanity, it was identity. Even as his health and finances suffered, he refused to conform to anyone's idea of normal. His story is both fascinating and tragic, a tale of a man who turned his body into art, but paid for it with his peace of mind. When he passed away in 2016, the world lost not just a singer, but a symbol of how beauty, fame, and pain can collide in the most haunting way imaginable. In the 1970s, Igor and Gritska Bodanov were France's golden twins of television. Brilliant, charming, and strikingly handsome, they captivated audiences with shows about science fiction, cosmology, and the mysteries of the universe. Their sharp jawlines, high cheekbones, and magnetic presence made them cultural icons, admired not only for their intellect, but also for their natural charisma. But what changed their destiny wasn't science, it was surgery. By the late 1990s, their appearance began to shift in ways that startled the public. At first, it was subtle. Then, almost overnight, their faces became something else entirely. Their cheeks grew unnaturally pronounced. Their lips expanded and their jaws took on proportions that defied human anatomy. With each new public appearance, the transformation grew more extreme. Soon, tabloids and audiences alike gave them nicknames such as the Alien Twins. While Igor and Gritska often dismissed speculation, claiming their look was tied to futuristic technology or personal evolution, the consensus was clear: drastic plastic surgeries, fillers, Botox, and unconventional procedures. At glamorous events like the Cannes Film Festival, they became viral sensations long before social media made virality a phenomenon. Photos of them spread rapidly, fueling endless memes, jokes, and the same haunting question: what happened to them? Yet, the most unsettling part wasn't their faces. It was their attitude. They never denied it, never apologized. Instead, they seemed to embrace the spectacle almost as if their transformation was a deliberate rebellion against normality itself. In 2021, The brothers died just days apart from complications of COVID-19. Their legacy in science and television remains, but the world remembers them most for their impossible faces. Their story is more than a tale of cosmetic excess. It is a stark warning about the pursuit of distinction at any cost, even if it means becoming a caricature of yourself. Who could have predicted that the heartthrob of the 1980s, the man whose smoldering gaze and rugged masculinity made millions swoon, would become one of Hollywood's most tragic examples of plastic surgery gone wrong? Mickey Rourke was once the very definition of Hollywood charisma. A man whose rugged good looks and magnetic intensity made him one of the most captivating actors of the 1980s. In films like 9.5 Weeks and Angel Heart, he wasn't just acting, he was living every scene. Critics called him the next Marlon Brando, a star destined for greatness. But Rourke's path took an unexpected turn. In the early 1990s, disillusioned with fame, he left Hollywood to pursue professional boxing, a sport he had loved since childhood. The decision changed his life forever. Years in the ring left his face battered and scarred, and when he tried to repair the damage, plastic surgery became his downfall. What was meant to restore his features ended up destroying them. Several reconstructive procedures went horribly wrong, leaving him swollen, uneven, and almost unrecognizable. His once chiseled jawline and expressive eyes were replaced by puffiness and distortion. Rourke later admitted with heartbreaking honesty that he went to the wrong guy to put his face back together. The tabloids were cruel, mocking the fallen star. Fans who once adored his effortless beauty were stunned, unable to believe what had become of him. But beneath the scars, Mickey's spirit never broke. His powerful comeback in The Wrestler proved that real strength isn't found in appearance, it's found in resilience. His performance earned him an Oscar nomination and reintroduced him to the world, not as the man he used to be, but as someone stronger. Today, Mickey Rourke's face tells a story of pain, regret, and redemption. A reminder that even when beauty fades, the heart of a true fighter never does. Michael Jackson was more than a superstar. He was a cultural phenomenon. A child prodigy turned global icon, he redefined music, dance, and performance forever. From the soulful voice of the Jackson 5 to the electric energy of Thriller and Billie Jean, Michael became the face of perfection. Yet, behind that perfection was a man deeply troubled by his reflection. His transformation began after a broken nose during rehearsal in the late 1970s, leading to his first rhinoplasty. At first, it was meant to correct breathing issues, but over time, it marked the beginning of a lifelong obsession with change. Through the 1980s and 1990s, his face evolved. His nose became narrower, his cheekbones more defined, and his chin more pronounced. Combined with his skin condition, vitiligo, his transformation drew endless public speculation. The world watched as the boy with the radiant smile became almost unrecognizable. Some said he was chasing perfection. Others believed he was trying to erase his past. In truth, Michael was fighting deep insecurities, a childhood scarred by criticism, and the crushing weight of fame. Every surgery seemed to push him further from the person he once was, and deeper into isolation. The tabloids mocked him, fans pitied him, yet his talent never faded. He continued to create, to perform, to inspire. By the 2000s, his face had become fragile, porcelain-like, haunting, almost angelic. It symbolized both his genius and his pain. Michael Jackson's story is one of beauty and tragedy, a reminder that even the greatest star in the world can be destroyed by the mirror he can't escape. Sylvester Stallone has long been the face of grit, determination, and raw masculinity. From the moment he shouted "Adrian" in Rocky, Stallone embodied the underdog who never quits. His journey from a struggling actor in New York to a Hollywood legend is one of the most inspiring success stories in cinema. But as the years went by, the man who built his career on authenticity began to face a new kind of battle, against time itself. Hollywood is merciless, even to its toughest heroes. Fans started to notice changes in Stallone's appearance: smoother skin, tightened features, and eyes that looked slightly different. Subtle at first, the alterations became more apparent as he aged. It was rumored that he had undergone facelifts, eyelid surgeries, and Botox injections to keep his youthful edge. While Stallone never denied cosmetic help, he downplayed it, calling it minor tune-ups. Still, many longtime fans missed the rugged, weathered charm that had once defined him. Some felt his face looked unnaturally tight, while others defended his right to evolve. The truth is, Stallone's transformation mirrors the pressure felt by many aging stars, especially men once idolized for their strength. He was no longer just fighting villains on screen. He was battling his own reflection. Yet, despite the criticism, Stallone continues to carry himself with the same confidence and determination that made him a legend. Today, his face, partly refined, partly scarred by time, tells the story of a man who refuses to surrender to aging or public judgment. Whether enhanced or natural, Stallone's legacy is carved not in his skin, but in the hearts of millions who still see him as the ultimate fighter, both on screen and off. Pixie Fox was once an ordinary young woman from Sweden with a simple dream: to become extraordinary. But her idea of beauty was unlike anyone else's. Fascinated by animated characters since childhood, Pixie set out to transform herself into what she called a living cartoon. What began as curiosity quickly turned into obsession. Over the years, she underwent more than 200 cosmetic procedures, 6 rib removals to achieve an impossibly tiny waist, multiple breast augmentations, cheekbone reshaping, lip fillers, eyelid lifts, and even eye color surgery. Every part of her body became a project, a step closer to her fantasy ideal. Her transformation drew global attention and shock. Magazines called her the human Barbie, while doctors warned her she was risking her life. But Pixie didn't see danger. She saw art. In her eyes, she wasn't destroying herself. She was sculpting her identity. Yet, beneath the confidence and bright smile, there were moments of loneliness and pain. She admitted that her obsession with perfection sometimes left her feeling empty, trapped between admiration and ridicule. The media mocked her, some calling her delusional, others calling her brave. Her family begged her to stop, but Pixie insisted she was chasing her dream, not approval. Today, her face and body are almost unrecognizable from the woman she once was, both fascinating and tragic. Pixie Fox stands as one of the most extreme examples of beauty obsession in modern times, a reminder of how the pursuit of perfection can blur the line between fantasy and reality. Behind the glamorous photos and headlines lies a haunting question. How far would you go to become your own creation? Justin Jedlisa is a man who turned his own body into a lifelong art project. Born in New York, he grew up fascinated by the flawless lines of statues and the sculpted faces of models. From the start, he believed beauty wasn't something you were born with. It was something you could design. At just 18, Justin had his first cosmetic procedure, a nose job that would open the door to hundreds more. Over the years, he's undergone an astonishing number of surgeries, from cheek, chin, and jaw implants to chest, bicep, and shoulder sculpting, all to create a physique that looks more like a plastic doll than a person. To many, he became known as the human Ken doll, a nickname he both accepts and rejects. He insists he isn't trying to imitate anyone. He's creating his own ideal. Critics call him vain, delusional, or addicted to surgery, but Justin sees himself as an artist using his body as the medium. Every modification, every contour, is part of his masterpiece. Public reactions have always been split, fascination from some, disbelief from others. Yet through it all, he remains unapologetically confident. "Perfection is my passion," he once said, and he means it. Today, his sharp features and sculpted body make him one of the most extreme examples of cosmetic transformation in modern culture. A man who challenges the world's idea of beauty, even if it means losing touch with what it means to look human. In the end, beauty fades, fame disappears, and all that's left is the truth beneath the skin. Perfection is an illusion, and sometimes, the more we chase it, the further we drift from who we are. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reflections on the faces behind fame.